Don't Tokyo One Way, Yokoso, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk a little bit about my experience being married to a Japanese man. And this is my personal experience. He's Japanese. He doesn't speak English or Italian or any other foreign language, and he has never been living abroad, neither for work nor for study. He traveled for work in Europe and in Asia, but only for limited periods of time, and he was working, so in some countries he didn't even have the chance to do some sightseeing. So he was not a person used to foreign females. Before starting to talk about our relation, I would start to say that my upbringing in Italy was in a family where my parents are not both Italian. So my father is Italian, my mother comes from a different European country. So while I was growing up, I had the fortune to be raised in an environment of two cultures. So I had the opportunity to take good and bad things from both these cultures. And yes, you can say, okay, your father married another European person, so what's the problem? 55, 60 years ago, there was no internet, there was no globalization. My parents, they had different languages, different religions, and different cultures, because also in Europe we have many different cultures, we have many different languages, and seeing my parents, I got used to see that to make a marriage work, you have to do sacrifices and compromises. Of course, in every marriage is the same. Also, if you marry a person of your own nationality. But when the upbringing is different, you have to put an extra effort to make things work, because there are two different ways of seeing at things, on facing things, and also the way you express your emotions or your affection. And then, of course, we are, for example, Italians. Not all Italians are the same. Then everybody has his own character. So there are many factors that you have to consider. So when I met my future husband, as I told in another video, I was not so young. I was 35, and I was a person who had traveled widely and had many experiences, and I also had my sorrows regarding love relationships. And when I met him, I was a little bit disillusioned about love and relationship. So the thing started simple way, easy way. I say yes, okay, I try it. If it works, okay, otherwise no problem. And anyhow, also to get my husband to date me, it took a certain effort. And my husband, of course, he was not a student or a young person who still didn't know what to do in his life. He had his job, we worked in the same company, and he was active in society. So as his work as for work, he has to travel a lot in Japan, mostly in Japan, and sometimes outside Japan. We didn't have so much time to spend together. So at a certain point of the relation, we decided to live together. Living together is not seen very well in Japan, but I didn't care. I didn't care also because I said, if you see a person only, let's say, once a week, yes, we met in the company, but we were in different department, and as I told you, he was a lot on the road, let's say. So also the time we had in the company, it was very limited, and we didn't say anything because it's always a working environment, so we kept the things secret till the moment we went to live together. And then we spent about 3 years living together. And then we decided to get married. So after having tested each other for these 3 years, we came to the conclusion that we really loved each other and we wanted to get married, and we got married. At that point nothing change because we were still living in the same apartment. It was just the fact that we got married, but it was not as if we lived in separate houses or you are getting out from your family's house, etc. And after a while I also quit my job at the company. I quit the job because sincerely I couldn't take it any longer because of the hours I had to work, and it was really taking on my physical health. So I decided to quit, and then I had a marriage visa, and I decided to do some part-time jobs, etc., so that I could get it a little bit easier. And now we have been married for more than 10 years, and I should say that we had our share of problems, but one thing that helped me a lot in my marriage was the fact that I've worked in the same company of my husband. So when he comes home and is totally destroyed, or he doesn't want to talk because he's tired, or when he comes home late, I know why, and I know what he has been through. So let's say that he comes home always very late at night. So when also I've been working as a translator, so I work from home, and I spend a lot of time alone, or working. I don't have colleagues or nothing because I'm translating alone, or just alone waiting for him to come home or to come home from a business trip. And this is it's very hard on you because you never know what time he comes home. You never know if next week he will be home or he will be gone in another part of Japan. And for me, I'm alone here. I have no families here, no good friends. So it's hard. It's really hard. And then another thing is that Japanese persons are usually considered cold persons because they have a different way to show affection. For me, it's natural to give a caress or to embrace or to give a kiss or to have this physical contact because I come from Italy. But Japanese persons, they are not used to it. And the good thing is that my husband living with me has adapted to me. So for him it's natural when we go out to hold hands and make a walk holding hands, or just to give a little kiss also if we are in the train. Or so he's more open than other Japanese persons I've seen, but not he is not going to come to me and, for example, in the house and embrace me out of the blue, for example. And he's always a reserved person, but I've noticed that we molded each other in a way that we manage to understand each other more and more as time goes back. Instead of getting the reaction that you split, it's just every time it's getting us much more closed. And I have to say that my husband never goes to drink out with the colleagues, also because in the company they don't have this habit, and he is not a heavy drinker. He has one beer, it's okay. More than one beer he doesn't enjoy alcohol. And another thing is that he likes to spend time with me. He relaxes to be at home with me. And another thing that helped us was the fact that, being always alone, I wanted to have a dog, also because I was a little afraid nobody comes in the houses in Japan. But lately there have been episodes of burglary inside the houses, but usually when the house is empty. I was not feeling safe, I was feeling lonely, and at the time we lived on the first floor, so I said, you don't need Spider-Man to come into the apartment here. So we bought a dog. And also having... Oops! Op la la! What's that? So this sound you have heard now is when an earthquake is coming. So it seems that in our place it's two. It's not shaking too much. It's not shaking too much, but the dogs are coming afraid. So I interrupt the video, sorry. So sorry for the interruption. And we have two dogs because we first had the Jack Russell, the white one, if you have seen in some videos. And when there was the big earthquake, he was alone in the apartment. I was at work and my husband too. And when I came home, I found furniture almost 1 meter away from the wall, and the dog, many things have fallen down and they were broken, and the dog hurted himself. He had a cut in his paw and he was locked inside in the shower room, and when I came home he was terrified. And since then I couldn't leave the apartment, and leaving him alone, because he was shaking like a leaf. He was like having a panic attack. So we decided to buy another dog so that he will always be with the other dogs, and in the hope that he would recover from this sort of trauma. And as you have seen, here in Japan we have this service that I don't know how many seconds before the sheikh arrives, they send a message. They send a message by on the phone, and there is written also where the quake is and how strong it is, where it happens, and on your location. So now we close this parenthesis. So now, having two dogs, of course, it's even much more relaxing for him, because when he comes home he finds me and he finds the dog to greet him. And so I have an husband, and I'm very lucky, who loves to be at home with me, and he spends all his free time with me. And if we have some hobbies or something, we do it together. So he's not the kind of person that is going to play golf with friends, or is going to out to drink, or no. We have each other. We have, I think, the same character, and I think we are very, very similar. And once I asked him, why did you marry me? And the answer I got led me a little bit like this at the beginning, and then thinking about it, I really appreciate it afterward. And of course, because you love a person, but the thing that he loved most in me was the fact that I make him laugh. And at the beginning I said, what do you think I am, a buffoon, a clown? And then thinking about it, I think it's so nice to be told you make me laugh, to have the ability to make someone laugh. And yeah, I make him laugh. I'm making him happy, and he is making me happy. So what I wanted to tell, of course, being in Japan and being married to a Japanese person, work is the top of the priority. Then it's me, the dog, etc., etc. But, for example, I had to go to the hospital to do a small surgery, or to do some exams that are not so nice, or they, even at the hospital they say, do not come alone, come with someone. Always went alone. And it has been only on rare occasion that he came to the hospital with me, because he had to work, and they say, okay, you are in the hospital, they take care of you if something happens to you. I couldn't, anyhow, I'm not a doctor, I can't do nothing. And at the beginning this hurted me a lot, because okay, yes, I am at the hospital, of course if something happens they are going to take care of me, it's the best place you are. But sometimes you would like to have someone with you to give that comfort, to make you relax, to have, I don't know how to say. I mean, there are Japanese husbands that were at work and they didn't go to when the wife was delivering their son or daughter. They didn't go to the hospital. And I found these things a little out of. I found it. No, I found. Sorry, I don't even remember English words. These things so uncompassionate. But I don't know if I'm becoming uncompassionate myself or if I came to understand what they mean. You are at the hospital, they take care of you, you are not dying, you don't need me. Also because when you are doing things or something, I will be in a separate room, you can't go there with the doctors. And at the beginning I suffered a lot, and I always said to him, you love your work more than me. And he said, look, it's not that I love my work more than you. With my work, I can sustain you. I can guarantee you, for example, an health insurance. I can't give you a home. I can bring food and all this stuff. Yes, I can stay here at home with you when you feel that you don't feel well, but if I lose my job, what should we do? Which is a reasonable thing if you just stop a minute and think about it. He's not going to a party, he's working. And Japanese persons, I always ask my husband, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? So when I ask my husband, do you love me? He says, I love you. But he doesn't say if I don't ask. But he sent me these messages on the phone with I love you. But he never says. And for Japanese person, love, it's not something you have to express verbally, because also how many times person says I love you, ti amo, and it's not real. They use the words very easily. In Japan, love is shown by action, but by what you do. So you can tell me, yes, but he is working. When you need him, he's not there. So how does he show you? For me, one expression is that he works. And that's also the general feeling here in Japan. And sometimes I've spoken with other Japanese ladies, and I said, no, my husband works too much. I would like him to have more free time. And they looked at me like I was coming, I don't know, from Italy. they said, well, aren't you happy that he's working so much? He has to work more. I said, no, I would like to spend more time with him. But then the conversation stopped. And he had the opportunity to show me his love in many things, but they were concrete things. He was there when really, really it was necessary for me to have someone next to me. He was next to me. So I don't know if how it works in other couples, because as I told you, I don't know anybody. I have only an acquaintance who is married to a Japanese man, but they live in Italy. So it's already a different context. And as I told you, maybe me and my husband are strange persons. They are not the normality. Because for me too, some things that for other foreigners can appear as strange, for me they are natural. I don't find them so strange. And my husband never complains if the apartment is dirty, if the dinner is not ready, if I didn't wash his shirts. Never ever complain. Never. He never hit me. He never used bad language to me. And yes, you can say, yes, but you are the stereotype of the female who stays at home and is like a servant to to her husband. I don't feel like a servant. I do my part. He is doing his part. I found it natural. Now I began again to work, but part-time. If he comes home and he doesn't help me at home, this you have to. He doesn't help at home, and he's not able to cook. So if I'm sick, he has to go out and buy something. He maybe can make me a tea or put on the rice. That's all. While in Italy, most of the men are very good cooks, I should say. And my father was a good cook. My brother is a good cook. And he does chores in the house if I tell him. But here's another thing where we at the beginning had some problems. You have to be clever when you tell your Japanese partner to do something. You have to do like Japanese women do. You don't have to just shout it out or be nervous and say, oh, you never helped me doing this, or you have to be very quiet in a moment when he is relaxed, and you just say, I would have helped if you sometimes make this or do that. I tried and it works. So it depends also how you communicate the message to it, for it to arrive. And What else can I tell you about my marriage? Nothing. This is the way we live our marriage till now, and it has been shaky at the beginning, and it took time from the both of us to understand each other. And sometimes I say that I transformed him in a little monster, because now he too speaks out his opinion when something is not good, also at work, or when Japanese persons usually they don't do it. So we are a sort of hybrid, me and him. We, as I said before, we molded each other, and now we are not Italian, we are not Japanese, we are something strange in both society. And I noticed that also he changed a lot in his behavior, in its way of also in his way he talks to me lots and lots more than before. He opens to me, and it's not this shoganai gaman shite. He finds some kind of relief saying what bothers him, and this is good. This is something, as I say, that Japanese should learn to do. But as in the video Shoganai Gaman Shite, it's an habit that I don't know when will be tolerated in Japan. Thank you so much for your attention, and let me know if you like the video, if you have some comments, and if you would like to subscribe to my channel and make it grow, I would really appreciate. Do it if you like my videos, clicking on the subscribe button and then on the bell, so that every time a new video is uploaded you will be notified by an email. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a super great day. Bye!